Welcome to the ultimate speed contest, the 7 Networks exclusive telecast of Hardie's Heroes, the runoff for pole position for the James Hardie 1000 1985. Normally involves 10 cars, this year 11, one more included at the discretion of the organisers. 3 Jaguars, 3 BMWs, 2 Mustangs, 2 Commodores and a Volvo. To tell you just who they are, here's Mike Raymond.
The electrifying 11 for today's qualifying includes the sensational Italian ROBERTO in the Bob Jane T-Mart's BMW. 10th fastest is Tasmanian David Parsons in the Mobile Commodore number 7. 1 spot ahead of him is the Mayor of the Mountain, Peter Brock, in the 05 Mobile Commodore. 8th fastest is the Kiwi extrovert Robbie Francevic in the Mark Petch Pi Volvo Turbo. 7th quick is Larry Perkins in the 2nd of the Green Motorcraft Mustangs. Ahead of him is the Top Banana, Queensland's own Dickie Johnson. Then comes the fastest qualifying Commodore. It's the number 6 machine of Allan Grace. Australian champion Jim Richards is 4th fastest so far in the JPS Team BMW, and he believes he can go quicker. Then comes the Jaguars with English ace Jeff Allan in the 9 car, Super Scott Tom Walkinshaw in the number 18 car. Well, guess who has quickest time so far? It's former Bathurst winner Johnny Goss in the 3rd of the V12 Supercats.
Unprecedented in this year's Hardie's Heroes, we have 11 cars, including both the Johnson cars. Alan Moffat, it's a bit like the situation you had last year.
Yes, it is, Neil. The 3 Jaguars from England have all qualified, but they intend to run all 3 cars. Dick Johnson brought 2 of his little Fords to Mount Panorama, but he only intends to run 1 of them. So at the discretion of the organizers, they've included an 11th car, the BMW of the Bob Jane team, and we'll see 10 cars on the final, but they're allowing 11 to run this morning.
Green flag at the ready now, because the boss is on the racetrack, and that's Peter Brock, who almost owns this mountain. He's driving the 05 Mobile Dealer Team Commodore V8. Nice exit from that turn, and now working up towards the cutting. Peter Brock got there quickly too.
Just a dab of the brakes. Don't want to lose any time. This is the steepest part of the course. It requires maximum power of the engine. Also, any time you can pick up coming through the corner will add to your lap time.
Commodore fans on the top of the whoa, Untitled.
I think that one will cost him a little bit. Here's one of the problems with Group A. The wider tires that we used to become accustomed to in the past are not there anymore, and if you plant your foot, the rear can come out. No fault of the design of the vehicle, just a fact of the life with the narrow rear tires.
Through the S's, now through Forest Elbow, onto Conrod Straight comes Peter Brock.
So Peter Brock in 05, despite a little moment on the grass at the top of the mountain, through the gears to the left-hander to complete his lap at Hardie's Heroes. Whether the V8 Commodore has gained a spot or 2, we await his time now.
Here comes the time, and try as he might, Peter Brock fails to improve on his original qualifying mark and will be a disappointed man. There's the flag for David Parsons in car number 7, the 2nd of the Mobile Dealer Team entries. Former Rookie of the Year turns the car onto Mountain Straight and lets it rip.
And now accelerating with the torque and power of V8. This is where dividends are paid on race day for this team.
Past the halfway point and down off the top of Mount Panorama, time over the top was not quite as quick as needs be for the fastest lap on the mountain, but Parsons now giving it all as he heads down towards Forest Elbow and the big run down Conrod Straight. The clock ticking down. Can Parsons improve his time dramatically, improve his grid position for the start of the James Hardie 1000?
So Tassie David Parsons dropping it down through the cogs, ready for the left-hander for his run at Hardie's Heroes. And the number 7 Mobile V8 Commodore clips the curb coming out, but there's the checkered flag to greet him.
Good effort by Parsons, despite a little untidiness, about a half second quicker than his previous best.
David, a 22.8, it's the best run so far, much better stuff.
Yes, I'm very happy with it, but I'm still not on the ball, you know, skipping. I hit a curve out here and missed it down there, so no, I'm happy, really happy.
The flying Kiwi, Robbie Francevic, in the turbocharged Volvo, gives the mountain his best.
This car will have the turbo boost well and truly adjusted into the full stop position, and this is where the turbo activates itself. Climbing up the hill, I think the car in the race is going to be very competitive in this section of the track.
Robbie Francevic is a man who's taken a victory or two away from other drivers in the Touring Car Championship of Australia this year. His first visit to Mount Panorama in a very competitive car. He's giving it his best shot as he brings the turbo pie entry up Mount Panorama.
Francevic, one of the few drivers to be able to top Australian Touring Car Champion Jim Richards this season.
He's a little nervous there on that. It's got a little wide. He pinched it, as the Americans would say, going into that turn and running out of real estate. He's done it twice now, and I think he can discount this as being his best lap. Very important to use all the real estate, and that means the right apex going in and a nice gradual slide on the way out. Lifting its wheel there through the dipper.
Saving on a little tyre wear on one.
Economical. The Kiwis are always renowned for their frugality, Mike. But the car was truly amazing on Conrod, and even though it's only 3 liters, a 4-cylinder engine, it was quite fast.
Robbie Francevic to the left-hander at the end of Conrod Straight, in pretty good shape, coming out to take the checkered flag.
Boy, oh boy, what a sensational time. 2:20.837 for Francevic. He's with Pat Welsh.
Robbie, congratulations. A sensational time, 2:28.37. You must be very happy.
Terrible time.
It's the green machine, well, the second version anyway. 18, Larry Perkins is the driver, and he heads up Mountain Straight. Larry Perkins working the V8 Stang to the cutting. V8 horsepower gets you there just a little quicker. Nice exit from the turn, and working his way up to the top of the mountain. Larry joined Dick Johnson for his assault on Mount Panorama only about 7 weeks ago. He's brought a lot of experience to the Johnson team.
Yes, Mike, it's great when you can have a man who knows the difference between a spark plug and a pair of pliers.
And can drive like he does.
And can drive as well. A lot of teams have to hire drivers, and I won't say that's all they're good for, but it is a big help to have an assistant and someone that you can confide in and talk tactics to, and I'm sure this Johnson Perkins team is going to be a force to be reckoned with tomorrow. Up to about 6,800 RPM here on the straight in 5th overdrive. It's not really overdrive, but it's a 5th gear, and it'll accelerate the little Mustang up to around the 160-mile-an-hour mark.
So Larry Perkins in 18 at the end of Conrod Straight. The left-hander, he's uncorked a lap in good shape as he takes the checkered flag.
A 22.3.
Yeah, that's certainly better than the first run. That's race rubber because the qualifying rubber was proven to be no good on Dickie's first run, so we're both on race rubber, but no, it was a nice clean run. I'm more than happy with that.
Green flag at the ready now. And you can't miss the tone. It's the JPS BMW car number 1, and it carries the 1 because Jim Richards is the Australian Touring Car Champion for 1985.
And that's not by accident, Mike. He's driving this car extremely well. I found it quite a surprise, a tremendously well-balanced car, but just quite how Jim is doing these times is beyond me. Sliding it through here, very flat cornering car, very nicely balanced, prepared by Frank Gardner, who knows how to get the car set up, and Jim certainly knows how to drive it.
Here he comes to the top of the mountain, Jimmy Richards, the Australian Touring Car Champion. And, of course, he's been on the victory dais here on 3 occasions as the winning driver with Peter Brock.
He's got it flying here today, Mike.
Richards really pushing hard for Hardie's Heroes.
He's aiming at a sub-20 here. And depending on his approach to Forest Elbow.
Very, very clean lines all the way around the circuit. The last critical turn for him, the exit here. It's wide, very wide. Almost took the V and the Valvoline off the wall. Number 1, Jimmy Richards, the JPS BMW final corner, the left-hander. One handful of opposite lock comes out of the turn. The checkers at the ready. Richards across the strike.
Well, the clock has stopped on a quick one for Jim Richards, but not quite quick enough.
Nice time, Jim, at 21.3, having an each-way bet with 2 different compounds on both sides of the car, but they tell me you've touched the fence up the top.
Yes, I felt a little bit of a touch in the back, but it didn't slow us down at all.
Car in good shape for the race.
Fantastic, yep.
And here's number 3, John Goss at the wheel of the 3rd British Jag. Gets the green flag and sets off on a lap of Mount Panorama in a quest for pole position.
Well, John Goss pioneered the Jaguar attempt here at Mount Panorama, and this is the moment he's been waiting for 12 months.
Up to the right-hander at Castrol.
This is one circuit where a lot of miles behind you certainly pays dividends. It gives you that extra little bit of confidence. It allows you to put your blinkers on a little tighter and just ignore some of the embankments and concentrate on the apexes and the amount of road you have to use. And John seems to be doing that extremely well at the moment.
Well, Johnny Goss has been coming to Mount Panorama for a long time. Winner here in 1974, so he knows what it's all about.
Yes, a seasoned competitor. And one given a good car, I know, will do well. John is hounding it through the forest elbow.
Heading on to Conrod Straight, and how good the Jaguars look for the Sports Tab trifecta for the James Hardie 1000 tomorrow. Down through the gears, John Goss, car number 10. Planning on keeping the Jags 1, 2, 3 at the head of the pack tomorrow for the James Hardie 1000. He moves out of the turn to take the checkered flag.
Johnny Goss, a fraction off his best, but still a lickety split, 2:20.919. He'll be pretty happy with that. Keep the Jags very prominent.
John Goss at 2:20.919. Happy with that?
Yes, I'm reasonably happy. I did what I could on the circuit. A couple of marginal errors, I suppose, but I'm happy with the time. It's all I could do this morning.
Coming out of the bottom turn, green flag is ready, and it's Roberto Ravaglia from Italy in the Bob Jane T-Mart Schnitzer BMW 635.
Ravaglia heads up Mountain Straight, aiming to shave those important hundredths of seconds off his qualifying time. Coming into Hardie's Heroes, this car was the 11th fastest qualifier, included in the runoff for pole position at the discretion of the race organisers.
Nice and fast through there. You can hear the engine on top RPM. Clipped the inside of this one. Lost a little bit of ground there. Brought out from Europe at no minor expense to the management, that's for sure.
An into forest elbow and lines up on Conrod Straight. Foot flat to the floor.
The Italian Roberto Ravaglia comes down into the final corner. Checkered flag at the ready. The Bob Jane T-Mart Schnitzer, number 21.
Big improvement here for Roberto Ravaglia at 2:22.874, more than a second off his previous best mark.
Roberto, an excellent time, 2:22.874, about 1.5 seconds quicker than earlier. You must be very happy.
Yeah, I am happy because today is only one lap, but tomorrow no problem. The race is 1,000 kilometers.
It's the Kmart entry, and Sydney's Allan Grice is at the wheel, driving the fastest Commodore on the track at Mount Panorama this week.
Well, Gricey rattled the opposition here in the first 2 days of practice and setting the fastest time of a Commodore. Let's see if now when he has to do it, this is his last run. Went through L corner in good shape.
To the cutting, left-hander. Gricey stabbing at the throttle. The exit is important. Wasn't too bad. Caught a little of the dust on the way out, but he's always been a good qualifier, and particularly at this circuit.
The bearded one, the fearless one, Allan Grice. Oh, little twitch there.
The car is showing a little twitch. I'd say that's something that they'll be working on this afternoon to try and eradicate. Bear in mind they are trying. I would suspect he's on his qualifying tires, and it is pushing into the suspension a few ingredients that normally wouldn't be there on race day. It's quite hard to get your car just right for qualifying. You can't chew up 30 sets of tires to get a qualifying setup just right. At least I could never afford to.
Sat on pole here a couple of years back, trying to improve his best time as he comes out of the turn and takes the checkered flag.
The times are getting tight in the battle for Hardie's Heroes here at Mount Panorama.
Good stuff, Gricey. A 20.6 on race soft rubber, not qualifiers. You must be happy.
Yeah, we're happy with that. I thought we could just sneak into a 20, and there it is.
Coming out of the left-hander on to Hardie straight. The green flag, Queensland's very own Dick Johnson. The number 17 Mustang is underway in Hardie's Heroes.
There he goes through the first left-hander, one that he's got to make good time through to capitalize on the strain of getting up mountain straight. V8 torque pulling him up quick onto third gear here. Pull into fourth and accelerating along at around 100 plus.
Johnson slides by McPhillamy and across the skyline as the Ford fans cheer, and down off the top of Mount Panorama into the dipper and then through the S's, heading for Forest Elbow and Conrod Straight.
Big rev here down into Forest Elbow, holding it in second so he doesn't have to up change this time. Doesn't want to know that wall this year.
17 Palmer, Tube Mills, Mustang V8.
Time is going to be quick for Dick Johnson. Is it going to be quick enough? The checkered flag goes out. The clock is about to stop. And Dick Johnson takes a slab off his previous best time.
Dick, that was great stuff. A 20.4 on race rubber.
Yeah, it was about time, innit? Yeah, that felt an awful lot better on the tyre department. The others sort of got a bit mushy, but that's our race tyres, and I still reckon we can do that with a full tank.
Jeff Allan, the English driver, heading along pit straight, trying to improve on his best time yesterday, which of course was a 2:20.32. As everyone knows, the V12 Jaguars have been dominating Mount Panorama this week.
Jab of the brakes. Not chicken to hold it on it. He's not backing it on and off it, taking it. He's made his decision where he's going to go. The car is placed nicely, and obviously he has the confidence of knowing that's where it's going to finish, not against the wall, even though it looks as if he's crashing into it half the time.
Jeff Allan sets his sights on Conrod Straight.
Coming out of the corner, checkered flag at the ready, and he's finished his shot at Hardie's Heroes.
Oh yes, Jeff Allan makes the pace in Hardie's Heroes at 2:19.915.
It's Tom Walkinshaw and the number 8 JRA Jaguar, the man who dictated the pace in the early days of unofficial practice and tried to take the pole back from yet another Jaguar.
Well, here's the team leader, the man responsible for this fabulous Jaguar assault on Mount Panorama, and I don't think from the times we've seen ahead of him, he's got too much difficulties worrying about being on the front row.
Here come the boss.
Even in Atlanta.
The right-hander and now winding his way up Mount Panorama. Tom Walkinshaw making a determined bid this year for the European Touring Car Championship, and in particular, an outright win here in the James Hardie 1000 tomorrow.
And listen to that Jaguar snarl its way to the top of the mountain.
He's giving it plenty again. You can hear the engine. It's not blipping. He's put his foot down. He knows where he wants to go. Here he is, sliding, using every bit of the road and not being afraid to hound it through here. It's particularly nerving there. It's very easy to make a mistake, but he's giving it its all. He's showing us that here's one Englishman that's not afraid of this Aussie mountain.
Oh, checking the halfway time at Castrol, the top of the mountain. This could be very, very sensational.
We take race cam again. We're riding with Tom Walkinshaw for the James Hardie 1000 tomorrow. Look at him at work, the steering wheel.
Just thought about going up a gear, but decided to feather it. Only natural to hold a gear change if you can. Pick up a fraction of a second. There he goes. Very snappy change. Car sitting nice. You can hear the overrun of the engine when it just hits some of the bumps. Not hurting the engine, but nevertheless not quite 100% traction on Conrod.
So Walkinshaw makes the ride for pole spot as he comes down beneath the bridge. Now into the gears. Try and slow it. Another one. One more. Into the left-hander. The checkered flag at the ready. And Super Scott, Tom Walkinshaw, takes the checkered flag.
Here's the time, and will this mean the pole for Tom Walkinshaw? 2:18.822. So the Flying Scotsman Tom Walkinshaw has pole position for the 1985 James Hardie 1000, a time of 2 minutes 18.82. And to present the pole winners trophy, the chairman of James Hardie Industries, Mr. John Reid, AO.
Congratulations, Tom.
Thank you, Mr. Reid.
Very much happier arrival this year than it was last year.
Yes, that's for sure.
Very good luck.
Thank you very much indeed. Thanks.
Tom Walkinshaw, you've mounted a very, very strong assault, and you've got the front row of the grid tied up with yourself and Jeff Allan and Johnny Goss in the number 6 spot.
Yes, you know, things have gone fairly well for us. We've worked right through our whole programme and set the cars up for the race. Now we're looking forward to a good race.
Let's check the grid after Hardie's Heroes. Pole position, car 8, Jaguar, Tom Walkinshaw. Second spot on the grid, car 9, Jaguar, Jeff Allan. Third spot goes to car 17, Mustang, Dick Johnson. Fourth spot to car 6, the Commodore, Allan Grice. Fifth spot to the Volvo, car 55, Robbie Frencevic. Sixth position on the grid goes to the third Jaguar, car number 10, John Goss at the wheel. Seventh spot on the grid to BMW, car number 1, Jim Richards. Position 8 to car 21, BMW, Roberto Ravaglia. Position 9, David Parsons in the dealer team Commodore, car 7. And position 10, car 5, the Commodore of Peter Brock. That's the lineup. Hope you've enjoyed Hardie's Heroes. Don't forget to join us for the exclusive 7 Network telecast of the James Hardie 1000 first thing tomorrow morning.